Okay, today is going to be a short day. It's been a long day at work, but I'm here to program today, even if it's just a little bit. The music you're listening to right now is programmed by me through Sonic Pi. So I was just kind of combining a couple ideas I found from the tutorials on Sonic Pi. So, it's just kind of some noise. Maybe tomorrow or something when I'm coding, I'll live code a new thing to a new soundtrack to program to. But basically today I'm gonna be trying to I want to see if I can remove this bubble table and see if our lava bubbles can work correctly, because we had implemented this because we thought it was causing our bug from last episode, which was actually caused by our global variables, our accidental global variables. So I'm going to see if I can take this code out and see if it'll still work fine, because it's potentially redundant code, Because, so my reasoning for adding it was that every time we reinstantiate a bubble into lava bubble 1, I thought it might be getting saved somewhere instead of overwritten. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think it should just, like when we do this lava bubble instantiation and we give it the same name, it should take the old lava bubble 1 that isn't removed now that it's popped. Well, we're going to take this out, we're going to take out that table. But now that it's not removing it from the table, we're just going to reinstantiate this new lava bubble info into the same variable that it used to be in. And I think it'll work. And then, we don't have to do any of that bubble 1 or bubble 2 table logic, because I think it's redundant. So let's try taking out this table. We still need the update. I think that's literally it. That's all that we had in there. That was those two. So the idea is I comment them out so I don't delete them, because if I delete them and then it breaks the code, then we're kind of out of luck. I gotta retype the code or whatever. So gonna go to our get joust directory, run love in this directory, and I'm looking for the bubbles, and I'm looking to see if the bubbles start freaking out, or if I leave the... See, and this is the other hard thing. It's like, since we don't have like proper debugging in Love 2D, it's hard to tell whether or not there would be a problem with those bubble instantiations. Like let's say a certain memory is getting allocated for that lava bubble because it needs to hold, all of its variables. And then since we don't remove it or delete it anyway, the thing is, I'm guessing that reinstantiating a new bubble is the same as deleting it, because it would be overriding, it's assigning the new bubble into the same bubble variable. So I do think that code was redundant, and we're not getting any errors, so I think we don't need that code. So that's a couple lines of code we can, take out of our program here, I think, safely. So there's 2 lines there, and then there's 2 lines here. That's 4 lines, and then these 2 lines make 6. So 6 lines of code we were able to take out and have the same effect. Okay. Now, I guess we can use this time to kind of theorize what we're going to need for adding our enemies. So, if we look in our Ostrich class, we've got. See, and now I'm thinking this animation timer, that is a global variable. So if we want an animation timer for other things, like our enemy ostriches, and we need to use an animation timer variable, which we will, it's gonna be incorrect. So we should change that. We should change all of these things to self. All of these global variables here to self, because we learned our lesson from that last episode, right? So it's like, I'm gonna put a little dash for every thing that needs to be self, just so I have an easier time going through the code and making sure I get rid of each one, or update each one to be self dot instead of just whatever it was. So it looks like there's 6 variables that can potentially bring problems when we're doing other ostriches, because we're potentially using the same variable names. So my reasoning for probably needing a different class for enemy ostriches is because we don't want our enemy ostriches to be controlled by inputs. We want them to be AI. So that's why I think we need to make a new ostrich class, or an enemy class. So ostrich class really should be like player class, and then enemy class can be enemy. So maybe we'll do that too. So we'll update these one at a time. So collide timer needs to be in reference to self. So this will be collide timer is now, this variable called collide timer is inside the self object, or like the instantiation of whatever object it is of this ostrich class. So it's no longer global when I do that. So let me see if I can go collide timer. Just want to make sure we don't miss anything, because it'll be hard to find. Really, I don't use collide timer. Oh yeah, you're right. Because I that's another line of code we can take out, because I had collide timer to prevent the collide sound from playing multiple times, but we ended up doing a different fix for that, so we can actually just get rid of that. We can get rid of this collide timer. Is that music obnoxiously loud? Okay, just collided. And I think we don't use that either. No, we did. So what do we do if we just collided? Okay, so the just collided. So I guess this point 1 is okay, that's checking. So if we're stopped, we can't. Dude, no, we do use collide timer. Yeah, collide timer is 0. But then we would use it up here too. Don't we have to? We'd have to update the collide timer upon a collision. Yeah, upon a just collided. So we do use it. I don't know why. Oh, the capital. No. Dude, what? Now you find it? No, collide timer. The collide timer. Collide timer. We do use it. Okay. So we shouldn't have deleted that. We did use a collide timer for it's like just a collide timer, which we're checking to see if we, yeah, let me see our just collided. Our just collided gets set if our dx is very tiny, meaning we're basically standing still. And since just collided gets true, we're going to update our timer, and then if it's less than the threshold, you're no longer just collided. So yeah, that's just a way of stopping us from colliding when we're not moving. From side colliding when we're not moving, because we can't side collide if we're not moving, but the collision detection with the buffer zone was triggering a side collision, which was playing our collide sound 60 times a second when we were just flying in the buffer zone, which is unacceptable. Okay, collide timer. We need self.collide timer. Self.collide timer. Self.collide timer. Probably should have done a find and replace instead of just a find. Any other collide timers that need self? No. So we're good on that. Then we need a just collided. Let's do a, is there a find and replace? Yeah. So the next one is just collided. So we're going to find every just collided and replace with a self.just collided. Make sure you spell it right, right caps and everything. And then find all, which is that many. And then, how did I get that up? Find, replace. How did I do that? Replace is Option Command F. Find is Command F. Replace is Option Command F. Okay. So we're going to replace all just collided with self.just collided. Booyah. And then we're good on that. Then we need a self FPS. We're gonna Command F, find FPS, Option Command F for replace. Find all. Wait. Okay. So yeah, there's 5 usages of FPS, only 3 in the animation, 2 in the instantiation. Then see, I guess this can be self FPS. I don't see a reason why it couldn't be. Self.fps and replace all. Now we need animation timer. Animation timer. And then find all. Why does it get rid of that when I do it? There's 7 matches on animation timer. All right here. We're going to replace with self animation timer. Replace all. Now we've got one more, and it's our total frames. No, and we've got 2 more, but it's total frames. I think that's only used twice in this whole, yeah, twice in this whole class. So self.total frames. And then self.total frames. Okay. Now we need Ostrich sprite, which can be Ostrich sprite will only ever be used once, so it could be global. So is that okay? Is it okay to leave it? Because we won't be drawing. There's ostriches and then the bad guys are vultures, so ostrich sprite shouldn't be used again. Unless I wanted to do like a 2-player joust mode with different color ostriches. But we can do that if it comes to it. Our music stopped. I'm not sure why. It says runtime error thread death on end 1. So I'm not exactly sure why. Got too far behind. I don't know what that means, but okay. So we added self to all the global variables that we should have had that way in the first place. So that's kind of like the first step to making sure our ostrich enemy class doesn't get busted. So we're gonna have to make enemy sprites or see, and the thing is, like, the reason I didn't make the ostrich from scratch with my own art is that since I'm doing it at the real original resolution, there's only so many ways to draw such little pixels that I just decided to just go with the original because it just looks so good. So maybe one of these days I will try to make an ostrich at the same resolution but with my own artwork. But I really, like, that's not really the thing I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do here is make the game, not necessarily design the assets for a good looking game, because it's a good looking game. Like they did, they got great animation for the footsteps and the skidding and everything. So that's why I didn't make it. So I probably won't make the vulture enemy sprites either. I'll probably just recolor them like I did for our ostrich. And then I do think I need to make the enemy class. Okay, let us see if we can save this and run our code and see if nothing breaks. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. Since we did the find and replace, I felt much more confident that it wouldn't mess up so bad. So yeah, sorry, I think I'm gonna call it today because I've had a long day at work. But tomorrow's last day of production, so I'll start to have some more time. And I won't be coding so late when I have production early in the morning again. So I think I'm gonna call today. I mean, it was a success. We took out maybe 8 lines of code we didn't need, and then we set ourselves up for success with this to do our enemy sprites, coming up next. So, the whole goal of this project is to get me to program every day, even if it's just a little bit. So I've done that and I feel good about it. And commit our pushes. Or let's make our commits and then push our commits. That's what I meant to say. So we're gonna get add everything to the staging area. I wanna see if you get status. Yeah, we modified those two things. So we're gonna get A with a message, which is adding everything and committing. And we're gonna say removed bubble tables, because we did, and then took out global variables from our Ostrich class. And this Ostrich class probably should be player. Well, no, the Ostrich, well, if we want to add like a 2-player mode with multiple ostriches, we might want to. No, actually that's fine, because then we would want that to be controlled by inputs too. We would just have different inputs. So I guess, yeah, I'm gonna leave it as Ostrich for now. If we want to add a 2-player mode, that's a future us problem, but we'll leave it as Ostrich class for now. Took out global variables from our Ostrich class. Booyah. Which was 21 insertions, 27 deletions. I won't even find it. Okay, we're just gonna push to our origin main and call it a night. Thanks for tuning in. Hope the music wasn't too atrocious for you. Yeah, see you tomorrow.